In honor of Black History Month, WCTV plans to highlight Black culture, legacies, and leaders right here in the Big Bend in South Georgia. In Thomas County, Henry Flipper made history as the first Black man to graduate from West Point as an Army lieutenant, according to local historians. Flipper was born into slavery in Thomasville in 1856, but despite racial and environmental challenges, he went on to become a notable engineer and officer. I spoke with Thomasville History Museum curator Ephraim Rotter about the impact Flipper leaves in South Georgia. He says the lasting legacy attached to the Flipper name is unforgettable.
All of Thomasville, to have a Black person to look up to like that, I think is an important social and cultural thing to have. So many people from so many backgrounds are able to find something in the Henry Flipper story or the Flipper family story to embrace and be proud of.
A local park in Thomasville was eventually named in honor of Henry Flipper for his accomplishments and his influence.